Oh. The French Revolution. The French Revolution is one of the most important events of historical times. In fact, we're going to have to talk about the French Revolution before the French Revolution even started. So let's get this started. First of all, we're going to have to talk about France. This is France. Big, beautiful, uses the baguette as a weapon, and is really good at pissing off their enemies. However, it is ruled by a very, very long monarchy. It's been ruled by that for a while. A rigid feudal system that's divided into three classes. The rich king at the top, the secondary people, the clergy and the nobles, and literally everyone else. Merchants, peasants, blacksmiths, you name it. And pretty much these guys were the only ones who needed to work. These guys were all like, hey, we're just gonna take your money. And the king is like, I don't care. And King Louis XVI's grandpa died, so King Louis XVI now becomes king. Le hooray! And the only problem, though, he's an ill-bred fat boy. And definitely not ready to be king. But he is the king. So he has to deal with it. The problems France is facing? A lowering economy. They are in literal debt. The third class of that feudal system I told you can't feed themselves. Or at least not entirely. And they're taxed heavily. But what are they going to do about it? They're only 80% of the population. Whoops, they turn into 98% of the population. And poor people, no, not them. Not them either. No, that's the king and queen. Them. They were all like, you know what? We might just revolt. And so the king got a finance minister and then got easily swayed, and so he had to fire him, which actually made this guy very, very, very unpopular. Because that finance minister was really, 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 really popular because he tried to make reforms. And of course, his advisors were like, reforms? Terrible idea! Let's fire the guy. And Louis like, okay, whatever you say. And he did that because he lived in Versailles, very far away from his stinky peasants. So he had no idea what his peasants lived like. And since he had literally no idea what to do, he decided to do one of the most drastic measures. He called on the General Assembly. Basically a group of advisors that have representatives from each of the three estates. The first estate being the noblemen and the clergy. The second estate being the clergy, and the third estate, well, they are basically the peasants. And as I already said, it's a group of advisors, basically the French version of Parliament. However, it hasn't been called over 175 years until now. So what are they going to do? The king decided that he needed to create a voting system so that he could create reforms. He was all like, okay, clergymen, you basically don't have that many people. So you get one vote. You're 1% of the population. You get one vote. Nobles, you are also 1% of the population. You get one vote. And the third estate, you are a whopping 98% of the population. And you get 98, just kidding, one vote. And of course, it was really unfair to the third estate because they always found out that something like this would happen. We want more taxes on these guys. All in favor? All in opposition? 2-1. Taxes will be raised on these guys. You guys don't need taxes. We say that these guys and you are a bunch of poo-poo heads. All in favor? All in opposition? 2-1. We are not poo-poo heads. It's official. Le hooray! La boo! And after a lot of that happening, they're all like, kick them out. Don't need to, we were going to do that anyway. And so the revolution started. They needed guns. They got them. But they had no gunpowder. What would they do? Storm the Bastille! Yeah, Bastille, Bastille! And King Louis like, uh-oh, what problem? What problem? I mean, he was literally living here. And I've been here. And then the reign of terror started. Maximilian Robespierre. Well, yeah, this is Maximilian Robespierre. And he's all like, yeah, let's go ahead and be radical. Radical is rad. And so that happens, and then he started creating a more radical group. However, then basically the whole group itself, the National Assembly as it was started to be called, was basically split into this. The whole thing was divided into two things. On one side, they were conservatives. On the other side, they were radicals. And these guys were basically the Jacobins, and these guys were basically everyone else. Why am I pressing the wrong button? And they're all like, yay! And, well, the rest of Europe was basically itching to get at them. And so the French National Assembly were like, well, if they're gonna attack us, let's attack them first. No, you idiots, we're definitely not ready for war yet. Did somebody say something? And so they did. They attacked them. They declared war. 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 And the biggest thing that they did, that was the worst thing that they could have done, was that they did all of that at the same time. And to be honest, just ignore this for a second. The French were doing surprisingly well. They were doing good. They went here, they were able to do it, and then they decided to send two forces here, and on this side they decided to send a little general by the name of Napoleon Bonaparte. And while these guys were in a stalemate, Napoleon charged through and won literally every battle. He was basically, as I like to put it in the digital world so that they will understand, the Technoblade of war. He had this guy has a 1,810 something win streak in Bed Wars. And he had an undeniable great win streak. But back to the revolution, and now the Jacobins are in power. So what are they gonna do? A guy named Guillotine created the guillotine. And eventually Robespierre went all like that. He literally called himself a god. And he once probably said this: "My children, bathe all your immortal souls into my cult." Okay, yeah, he's lost himself. And then he did one stupid mistake. He basically said, hey, here's a list of names of people that I'm gonna execute. And some of these names include you, Jacobins! But I'm not gonna tell you which ones yet. What do you think of that? And the Jacobins basically responded like, I think we should send Robespierre to the guillotine first. All in favor? Oh no! And Robespierre was guillotined, ending his reign of terror. And then Napoleon Bonaparte was approached by a guy named Emmanuel Joseph Sayce, that's his initials if you want to look for it, so that they can do a coup. And he told Napoleon, hey, let's do a coup against the very unpopular government. Yeah! Let's coup them! Then I will coup you! What? And then they did a coup, which basically went out like this. Napoleon got smacked in the face. His soldiers basically said, hey, give us power. They complied. Napoleon would make sure that he was the lead editor of the treaty, and then he turned himself into first consul for life. Basically another name for emperor. Just in a nicer way. And then the revolution was over. Also, it was until another 5 years until that happened. And then from there, something happened that we would now know today as bomb. See you guys soon in the Napoleonic Wars. Da, 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 da. Okay, I'm not gonna be oversimplified. Also, this is heavily based on him.